Brodes Media.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. We are recording this Monday night. It is the day after pod, and I feel a lot better than I did yesterday, 5 seconds after the game ended. I'm not surprised. I clearly lean way more positive about this group, considering they win. Oh, by the way, they win. Even if it makes my eyes bleed, they win. And I'm watching Green Bay. What the hell was that group? I'm watching a lot of these teams in the NFC, and nobody scares me. If anything, I think Vic Fangio's defense scares everybody the most out of all teams in the NFC. Out of every phase of each team, I think the Eagles' special teams, with guys blocking punts and field goals nonstop, with their ability when they turn it on to have the most lethal offense, and the way this defense tackles, it's clear you're getting everybody's best shot. And you are still afraid of this year's version of the team. You're getting everybody's best shot naturally because you were the last team to hoist the Lombardi trophy. But now you see Didinger and Q even taking a bigger step. Look at what Q did yesterday. He's traveling all over the field. You got a Zach Bond 2.0 in the making in Jihad Campbell. I'm telling you that you scare everybody still. And that is definitely so important. But yesterday's second half, 5 seconds after the game ended, it bothered me. It bothered me a lot because I'm seeing tweets from Zach Berman, who does a great job covering the team, obviously, for The Athletic. And when he talks about Saquon in the second half having -1 yards on first down rushes, 6 first down rushes, -1 yard, there is something wrong with your structure. If teams can annihilate Saquon Barkley that efficiently on first downs. And it goes almost hand in hand with what Nick Sirianni was saying in his media availability today, which he was 45 minutes late to. I always find it funny when coaches stress details. Details. And then here they come, smiling ear to ear when everyone's scratching their assholes, waiting for you to step up to the podium. Oh, my bad, I was late. I had a meeting. Come on, man. I got stuff I got to do. If you couldn't tell, yeah, that pissed me off. I'm trying to figure things out with my wife. I got the kids to take care of. I said, hey, 3:15, I got to make sure I'm prepared for Nick. And then she texts me at 3:40. Is it done yet? Is it done yet? The guy isn't even here yet. Anyway. Here's the truth. So damn impressive to beat Tampa on the road in 100-degree weather, to beat the Rams at home when you're down 26-7, to beat Kansas City week 2, when they lost week 1, knowing that you're watching them sort of revive themselves. Point being, maybe they aren't the dumpster fire Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe there is something to them having a pulse, and you were able to beat that team when they were desperate and hungry to get off the 0-1 schneid. And then week 1 with Dallas, not that Dallas is good. You see their defense is an abomination to the sport. But week 1, crazy, bizarre things happen. You're not beating up on the Sisters of the Poor. Is that the joke? The St. Mary Sisters of the Poor? I don't know. I just hear people say that. I don't even know what it means. You're not beating football teams that are going to have a total of 3 or 4 wins by the end of this puppy. These are serious wins. And it took me all of 24 hours to get all the nasty stuff out of my system. Not all of it. Some of it's still there. But I'd say I'm back to being who I want to be again, which is a guy that's understanding 4-0 is a hard place to be. And especially when you're only playing half of the football game. In a weird way, it's almost more astonishing and more absurd that you can be 4-0 when in 2 of those games you're facing really good opponents and you're only playing half the game. You're only playing half the game. Offensively, at least, you're still winning these games. Nuts. It's nuts that we're here. But the one thing that I really can't stand are the Kevin Patulo supporters or the, hey, stop throwing shade at the OC. There's plenty of blame to go around. There's no doubt it's a team effort when you have 0 completions in the second half, but it starts somewhere. I don't like that some feel it's too easy to blame Kevin Patulo. Maybe it's easy because it's right. Maybe it's easy because it's clear fundamentally he's eating up or taking up a lot of that pie chart of who's to blame. He's the one that's setting this team up to fail. So if the players can't execute and if the players can't do X, Y, and Z, sure, they have a piece of the pie too. But the guy in charge that's supposed to put them in position to succeed isn't. It starts with that guy. And if that guy gets his head out of his rear end, if he knows how, then you'll see better execution from the QB, from the line, from the running back, from everybody else. I want you to take a listen to Ray Didinger, because nobody wants to hear it from me. God forbid I say it. But we all respect the man, the myth, the legend, Ray Didinger, who was on with Joe DeCamara and John Ritchie this morning. Listen to what he's saying about the struggles with Saquon, the scheme, things of that nature.
And one of the things that that I was thinking, and it's just my armchair coaching thing, but this was particularly true through the Rams game, was, man, I know this coaching staff loves the 12 and 13 personnel. I know they love double tight ends. I know they love 3 tight ends. They love to do that. But to me, if you go with that formation heavy a lot, which they like to do, you tighten up your own formation by definition. It's tight ends. And I think that makes it, if a defense wants to attack the line of scrimmage and shut down the running lanes, I actually think if you go multiple tight ends, you kind of help them do that because you're bringing everybody together. Sometimes I think, and I thought I would like to see maybe less of that and more 3 wides and spread the field a little bit and create a little bit more room. You know, maybe that would help you get out of the log jam. But when you go double tight end or 3 tight ends, you're kind of bunching up the formation. I think you're making it easier for teams to play the interior.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? And here's the kicker. I believe they can get this right, which is why I'm not just annihilating them to the nth degree, big picture, saying we're screwed. If I felt there was no way in hell they could rally together and get on the same page and make this right, then there would be so much more pain in my body. Then I would feel broken because you are now wasting a chance to do something serious. There's a long way to go. Now, I wish they were taking bigger leaps and bigger strides with their progression from week 1 and week 2 to week 3 and week 4. And maybe the competition has something to do with that. Listen, when you face the Giants, Jackson Dart or not, and it is very unfortunate to see what happened to Malik Neighbors. You never want to see an injury like that happen. But maybe we don't see the extremes as much because, well, the talent disparity is going to be different. Should that make you feel any better if you're playing lesser teams and you're not struggling as much? I don't know. The goal is you got to beat these badass teams. You got to beat these tough opponents, and that's the standard. That's the bar. That's who you're going to have to face in championship games and in NFC championship games, divisional rounds. But they also did beat them. You know, it was uglier than it's probably going to be when you face some of these weaker opponents. But ultimately, they still won all of those games. But in regards to better flow, better understanding of how they need to run their formations, better understanding of route concepts, I got to imagine over time, there's just too much football knowledge in-house, and there's too high of a standard where that's inevitably going to roll into form. If they could have done it last year at 2-2, why not now? And if you want to have a pessimistic view, the answer could easily be Kellen Moore was very experienced and an outside voice that maybe was willing to push back on what Nick Sirianni wanted to do at times, or maybe Nick Sirianni wasn't even given the power to look at Kellen Moore with any sort of voice. Let's be honest. Maybe that was the case. Whereas Kevin Patulo, maybe he doesn't have it. Maybe he doesn't have what Kellen Moore had. Maybe he doesn't have what Shane Steichen had to figure it all out. I mean, I guess that is one way to look at it. But you see the all-22 guys and the route running for A.J. Brown, and that's just not going to get it done. It's just not. This is the National Football League. It's so Bush League that you are even trying to attempt it. It's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying. So as you can tell, I'm definitely in better spirit. I'm definitely in better mood, a better mood, but it's still there a little bit. Listen, it's day one after the game. The fact that I'm probably sitting at 98%, we're back, and 2% with still that rage, by tomorrow, we'll put it to the side. I think. I always have to keep prefacing it by saying, I think. But look, their red zone efficiency is elite. They'll eventually probably won't be 100%, but their red zone efficiency is so scary good, it's not even funny. Instead of 3 points, instead of, God forbid, a turnover, you're punching it in for 7 consistently. And the fact that you have the variation off the tush push now, that is crucial. Crucial. Because teams have to sell their soul. Now they wonder what if. And if you wonder what if for a half a second, you can't even stop it when you sell your soul. Let alone if you hesitate for half a second, you're screwed. So just the, hey, what if thought that goes in the other team's mind now whenever they line up, it just expands the greatness of the play in totality. And it's such a difference maker that nobody else has in their back pocket. It shines in moments like that. Because at some point, you got to see the other team's sidelines, and they're shrugging, going, what do you want me to do? How else can I possibly play this? Now they have trickery off of it? This is a nightmare. That's how lethal of a weapon that play is. And you can use it in so many different moments. And even if you don't, just the maybe you might. Just the, hey, we've seen this once on tape, automatically strikes fear in the defensive coordinator's eyes. It's crazy. Their ability to create turnovers is also elite. Their defense, holy shit, it's just so overpowering. It's just so overwhelming. And you strike in the draft late now. You get a Jihad Campbell. You get an Andrew Makuba. You get a Quinyon Mitchell. Quinyon Mitchell, we talk about not having a CB2, and that's very true. What Quinyon is capable of doing when you're drafting later in the drafts, I mean, that sets the tone for the secondary. I know Zach Bond does, and Cooper DeJean does too, and that really does reflect how phenomenal this is you can make the argument it's Bond. You can make the argument it's, DeJean, Coop. You can make the argument in some of these other guys. But the fact that you have Q locking up the best team's wide receiver in that fashion, where he was getting pissed, he was getting annoyed, he was getting bothered. You could tell the frustration all throughout the game. And I think he showed that frustration that was bottled up, where he did have the 77-yard touchdown or so. You could see his body sort of exhausted from all of the pain and suffering of Q being at his neck all day long. But your ability to plug and play Q everywhere and him excelling and actually executing that efficiently at such a hard position going up against lethal weapons, that allows so much more activity throughout every other layer and every other player on your defense. Because if you don't have that, I don't know. Maybe you don't get as many Zach Bond hits or Cooper DeJean hits because wide receiver one's open. Because the other team's number one target in their first read in the progression's open. And you're dealing with, Guys flying all around in the secondary making plays because you don't have someone who can lock down and move around the field and cover at an elite clip. Q's a dog. It's only going to get better and better and better. That's a scary thing. The fact that you get him and DeJean, Campbell and Makuba. What? Jalen Carter and Davis. Every layer to this defense. It's nuts. They're in such a better spot defensively 4 weeks in than last year, and look at how much they were able to grow and blossom. Wow. And whenever you hear the good old debate that's getting thrown around everywhere, doesn't it feel similar to 2023? Not really. And I'll tell you why. Everything I just mentioned about that part of the team. See, Sean Desai, Matt Patricia, that's not a presence like Vic Fangio. I don't think you have the incompetent defense and offense that allowed for all of it to collapse. This defense is going to keep you invested and involved in every way, shape, or form because they're just so damn talented. And if this special teams turnover parade keeps happening and Michael Clay keeps cooking, and if Jake Elliott's going to knock down field goals as well and not have a weird season like he did last year, I don't think they're as capable as that 2023 team was in collapsing. Just because it's rough doesn't mean that it's automatically going to end in the biggest collapse in Philadelphia Eagles sports history the way 23 did. It's not apples to apples. It's totally different personnel. It is a different coaching staff with the defense. That defense in 23 stunk. I think you're automatically kept in games, and the way their winning pedigree is, I don't see anything close to that same level of failure. Now, it doesn't mean that they're automatically going to go win a championship either, because I've seen them win a championship. The 25 team is not the 24 team. They have a problem at CB2. Their inconsistencies in their offense is bizarre. It's bizarro. It's hard to even fathom, and it's hard for people to even figure out the answers why. That's how rough it is. But this is something I find fascinating. It's so much with structure and formation that it's just mind-numbing that you could be so stupid as an NFL coaching staff to be this out of touch with reality of why it's happened. Does that make sense? I don't know. I don't even know if it made sense to me. But Saquon Barkley has the most rush attempts, 77, in the league. He's second worst in yards per attempt. Maybe if the running back and the running game couldn't get going, that you can get more going in the passing game. But you can't even do that. If that's the case, something is broken. You're going to keep hearing me repeat that. Out of all 22 clips that I've seen, there was one throw by Jalen that I wish he was a little cleaner on. You can point out a throw. One to A.J. Brown on the left sideline where the ball sailed a little bit. But it's funny. Well, this throw should have been made. There's a clip where there's 3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers literally in a circle. Almost, remember back in the day when you played monkey in the middle? There was one guy in the middle, you're throwing the ball over. I don't even know if that reference makes sense here at all. But AJ is in the middle of 3. It's almost like they were playing that game. And 3 Tampa Bay Buccaneers could have threw the ball around, and AJ's in the middle. And you got people say, hey, Jalen didn't throw the ball to AJ. Look, he's got to let it rip. Now, how come Devontae and Goddard in the second half not getting the ball? Coaching malpractice. What's not malpractice is smoking Amelio cigars. It's the complete opposite. Old school roots, new school attitude, locally owned, 3rd generation, made at Fabrica Oveja Negra in Nicaragua. This is the best cigar to ever touch my lips, and Amelio cigars are the only cigars to smoke. Do me a favor. If you are a cigar smoker, there is one place to go. You click the link down below in the descriptions. There's so many different options for you, and you will get 10% off your purchase by utilizing the promo code BRODES10 at checkout. So if you want to kick it out back after an Eagles victory and take fat puffs of a beautiful, outstanding cigar, there's one place to go for that. If you want to go golfing with the boys and someone's bringing the cold ones and you say, hey, don't worry about it, I got the cigars, boom, you can get a nice stash of Amelio cigars for the fellas. How about, I don't know, it's a family birthday party for a young one of the family. And you know the uncles are going to be there. You know the aunts, the uncles, the cousins. And you bring a nice little how do you do? I'm like, damn. You kidding me? You got an Amelio? Where'd you hear about Amelios? How Brodes told me. Brodes is the best. Amelios are the best too. Check it all out. Become a part of the family, the Amelio cigar family. There's nothing better in life. Amelio cigars. Check it out today. We're going to get to anytime hotline calls here. My last two things. What do you know? I rambled. First, here's my question, right? If the Rams game plan in the first half or the Bucs game plan in the second half shut you down that badly, something needs to be wrong. That badly. See, teams make adjustments, right? And what I hate to hear, Jason Garrett said something like this, the other team gets paid too. You got to give credit to Tampa Bay. So I acknowledge that there are going to be times where other teams find an answer. And then it's on you to sort of recalibrate, to get it together, put your heads together, and figure out a way to counter their counter. Okay. How come when another team has their answer for you, it looks like you don't even know how to play the sport? You know, there is a way where, let's say another team, they make an adjustment, and they stop the run a little bit. So instead of getting gashed, their defense allows a 3-run gain, a 4-run gain. Well, now you're at 2nd and 6. Instead, Saquon in the second half, -1 yards on 6 first down carries. There's a way, instead of giving up 20 yards on a run, the other team makes an adjustment, but you still gain 5. So now it's 2nd and 5. Which then you can put it at 3rd and 1. Then you can push, and move the chains. You see, you can still be effective. And it doesn't have to look inept. If another team adjusts, you can still have some version of competence through another team's adjustment. You know what I'm saying? But whenever the other team does something, whether it's the way the Rams started, whether it was the way the Bucs got it going in the second half, whenever the other team finds their way, let's say, you still need to have competence. They just shut down to the point where they don't know how to do anything. If that's the case, it needs to be structure. It needs to be something about the formula and the foundation for it to be that ugly. There's too much here for it to be that ugly. It's that simple to me. In regards to the AJ tweets, if you're not welcome, not listened to, withdraw quietly, something along those lines. Here's the only positive spin I got for you. Whenever he bitches, whenever he complains, he has a nice day, though. He reads the books. All right, then the attention becomes, we got to get AJ rocking and rolling. Then AJ rocks and rolls. Would I do this? Of course not. No. It's loser mentality stuff. It is. You know what you're doing the second. Hold on. If you're not welcomed, not listened to, withdraw quietly. But you're doing the exact opposite. You're doing it loudly. You're doing the exact opposite of what the verse says. I think it's being a horrendous teammate. I don't know what to tell you. That's just how I feel. I would despise one of my teammates doing that because it only makes it more difficult for everybody involved. But this is the way AJ probably feels. it's too difficult on the field. And if I get vocal, if I get obnoxious, if I turn sour, I get the football, then everything becomes easier on the field. And that's what the motive is. That's what the objective is. That's why I get paid, to help us win football games. So I don't care if on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, you turn into WIP and you got to deal with nonsense you don't like. My job is to put us in the best position to win games with my greatness. This is going to make it happen because I shut up for 4 weeks. It took one crazy half for me to explode against the Rams. This is unacceptable. I got to do what I got to do to get mine. Because getting mine will help us win. See, he doesn't look at it selfishly like, I just need to get my numbers. It's me getting numbers equals me and us winning more and better and having more fluid offense, which is probably not wrong. But I still don't like going this route. If that's how he truly feels, he's not wrong. Scheming A.J. Brown more is going to make this team strong. That's what, when I say I believe they can figure it out, it's because they have to. And if they can get A.J. Brown schemed better, then this thing is wrapped up. The reason why I feel they can figure it out is if you get A.J. Brown the ball more consistently and more creatively, then you're going to dominate even more than you already are, and you are 4-0 against really good opponents. So he's not wrong to have that stance. It's just how you go about it. We have one of the most immature players in the locker room, Jalen Carter, say, I'd rather lose ugly than have I'd rather win ugly than have 6 sacks and lose. And he's one of the most immature guys on the team. And he's dealing it that way, and AJ's taking this route. I don't know. It's bizarre, but it's part of the AJ Brown experience. It's part of having a diva. It's part of having a fantastic wide receiver. They are this way. Every single one of them. This is part of their personality. You got to learn how to deal with it. And truth be told, I think that there are way worse personalities than AJ Brown. I don't think he's a bad person. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think his teammates do love him a lot, but he creates this stuff. This is what he does. There's way worse personalities out there at the wide receiver position, but he's a diva. This is what they do. He's a diva. This is what they do. I guess I'm kind of numb to it, and now it's just about getting him to zip it by executing better and getting Kevin Patulo, getting his head out of his ass. You know, Jeff McClain of the Inquirer put out a piece that said he's being told that it's about people in the, of course it's about people in the organization. What else would it be about? I think it's about Kevin Patulo. I mean, this guy probably isn't listening to what the hell, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. This is what we need to do. And then here's Kevin Patulo. I don't know what I'm doing. So that's the way I see it. To the phones we go.
Hey, Brodes, what's going on? First time caller. Been watching since the beginning days. But anyways, I have to come on here and say that I was very happy about this win. I was very happy up until the second half. I was so pleased with how we played in the first half. I thought everything was going our way, and then the second half ruined everything. The second half ruined all my feelings about this game. I'm so upset about how the second half went. Defensively, obviously, we played great. I mean, you can't even fault the defense for anything. I mean, Campbell with his first interception. I mean, we played great that wise, but the offense needs to be fixed. It's so bad. It's so predictable, and it needs to change fast. Thanks, bros.
No, it does need to change. Now, does it ruin everything on how I feel? No, it doesn't. I felt guilty after the game was over because for so long I've been preaching this group in particular has won for so long. It's been a whole calendar year since their last loss. I mean, think about that. So if there's anyone who deserves time, it's this group. And while they get that time, they're winning and beating good teams. And that's been my stance for the first 3 weeks for the most part. And then this game happened against the Bucs, and I despised everything during the post-game pod. So I felt a little guilty. I did preface it by saying I just needed 30 minutes to pretty much rant and to get things off my chest, and I'd be over it pretty quickly, and I'd get back to feeling the way that I know I should feel, and That is true. And that's where I am now. And I guess my point is, with you saying you slept on it and the first half was so great, but everything that happened in the second completely ruined the whole entire good feeling and the good mojo and all. I think it's okay if on Sunday night you lost a little fire. You lost a little bit of the beauty. You lost a little bit of the joy because it was that gross. But when you look back with a big picture view in mind, it is crazy. It is crazy to beat the Cowboys. Not that the Cowboys are good, but it was when the game happened that mattered. It's week 1. You beat the Cowboys, a big NFC opponent in theory. I mean, no, they're not super competitive for a Super Bowl, but beating up on a team like the Rams, that could be. Beating up on a team like the Bucs, that could be. Beating up at the time week 1 against a division opponent, a conference opponent, that is a big deal. Beating the Chiefs, that is a big deal. These are big wins. So I guess the spin would be that they are playing egregious, vomit-worthy, disgusting, garbage football for half of the games. For half of the games. They're playing a great second half against the Rams, putrid first half. They're playing a great first half against the Bucs, putrid second half. And they're still beating these teams. When they're down 26-7. They're getting up so big because their first half against Tampa Bay was that dialed in. They're winning against premier NFC opponents and AFC opponents playing vomit-worthy football. What happens when? What happens when it does click? Now, you can make the argument maybe it doesn't the way we want it to. I mean, I guess that's possible in theory. But even if they unlock 85% of their potential, think about what this group's 85% is. Where most teams, if you get 85% of what they could be, that could be maxed out at a wild card round. This team, if they play 75% of their potential, if this coaching staff maximizes their potential at a 75% clip, that could still be winning the Super Bowl by 20 points. And no, I don't want it to be that way. And the only reason why I laid out that way is maybe there's a world, Brodes, where it doesn't click fully the way you want it to. And maybe it doesn't. But even if it doesn't click fully, I still think if it clicks at an 80% clip, they can win the Super Bowl by double digits. Based off of this logic, that they could play half of football and still beat up on these teams. Now, the Rams will probably get better. All these teams will probably get better. The Chiefs looks like they're on their way to getting better. But again, you look around the league at the Ravens crumbling. Now they're dealing with a Lamar Jackson issue with the hamstring. I haven't seen an update on that. When you view it with perspective of league-wide, which sometimes I think gets done at the wrong times, and sometimes I think it's fair to assess that, this Eagles team, when you look at league-wide, I mean, there's just so much to their greatness still that's main takeaway without a doubt. You want to go small picture for the day because it's Monday and it's still sort of the overreaction Monday feel for you. I understand, but by Tuesday or Wednesday, we got to filter out of that. We got a game against Denver coming up. So I just don't want you to sink your teeth too much in it, even though it's got to change. It's got to change. It's malpractice. It is. It's coaching malpractice from an offensive side. Let's go back to the phones.
All right, Brodes. Figured I'd call in after I slept on it. Listen, 4-0 is 4-0. We were literally 2 big plays away. If we don't let up the 2 big plays, 75 and 72-yard touchdowns, this game is a blowout. But there is a serious concern because you've got Sirianni and KP going crazy, interlocking arms and everything in the second quarter, and then second half rolls around and there's literally no juice to the offense, and like you said, it looks like we're playing not to lose. I do believe, though, that this team will at some point be able to put all of it together. Last week was the second half. This week was first half. I would really like to think that we could bring it all together at some point. We'll see how it goes. Go Birds. Red October on Saturday, baby.
I love that. Yeah, I haven't had a chance yet really to dive too deep into them or the match. What? So my one argument with your call that the counter I get, I don't like if you take away the 70-yarder, well, there were two 70-yard plays, and that happens, right? That's like saying, well, if you take away Jordan Davis's scoop and score on the block punt, I would have won my bet. Well, it did happen, and you lost your bet because of it, or vice versa. You know, some people covered because of that recovery and scoop and score to the house, but it did happen. You're going to have a great defense. You could be in a wild card game or a divisional round game or a conference championship game with the number one defense in the league. You could lose because your defense falls asleep for one play, and you can't say, well, if they didn't fall asleep for that one play, we would have won. But they did fall asleep in that one play. That's football, right? Big plays are going to happen. You're either going to be the team that makes the big plays or makes a couple of those big plays, or you're going to be the team that suffers because the other team made the big play. Whether your defense is great, your offense is great, whether your run game's this, your run game's that. That's like saying the Rams, well, outside of Saquon Barkley going for 200 yards in the snow, we had a great divisional round. But he did have 200 yards. And he also had the big game in the regular season against the Rams as well. So I don't like that if you take away, people do that. Well, if you take away Eli Manning's 2 Super Bowls, if you take away what Russell Wilson did with the Seahawks, so if you take away what they accomplished, you know, so if you can't take away the Buck stuff. Like that's Jihad Campbell and that's Makuba, 2 young defensive players who makes great plays 99% of the time. On the Jihad Campbell one, there was no pass rush either, so no one was getting home, which it's hard to buy that much time, or it's hard to cover for that much time, I should say. But those plays happened. I agree with your last part of it, though. I like that statement. You see that they have done it. Now it's just about putting it together, and you feel comfortable and confident in this group being able to put it together. And I understand that because, well, their resume speaks for itself. Hey, DraftKings speaks for itself. So many great opportunities to cash out. Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. So you can take a look at next week against the Broncos. Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. A.J. Brown after he complains over under receiving yards. Odds are subject to change. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Brodes. That's code Brodes to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boudreaux Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer. So I saw 2 Twitter posts today. One was from the WIP Midday Show. Is this team closer to the first half team or the second half team versus Tampa Bay? I think they're closer to the first half team. I mean, I don't even think that's close. I really don't. And I wonder what the actual results of that poll is. It is an interesting question, but I mean, 0 for 8. They're not an 0 for 8 team. No, maybe they're not as efficient as what you saw in the first half because their efficiency in the first, but I think they are closer to that than the alternative. Why isn't this popping up? 94-1 midday. Shouldn't be that hard. Here we go. Okay, the results are curious. First half 77.3%, second half 22.7%. And then the other one I thought was interesting. How do you feel about AJ's tweets? You're annoyed by it or you understand it? And that was the afternoon show. This one's a little bit more difficult for me. I think I would say I am annoyed by it, don't get me wrong, and it would be some combination of both. But if I had to answer it, I'd say I understand it because I think it's that disgusting of an offense where I understand it. Yeah, this is the NFL, and you're doing baby shit offense. And right now it's 50-50 with 1,300 votes. 50% are annoyed, 50% are understanding. I would say I understand it more than I am annoyed by it, even though I am annoyed by it. I understand it. I think it's that level of incompetent from your offensive mind. With that said, thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me. I greatly appreciate it. You guys are the best. You're phenomenal. I love you. Go Birds. Talk to you on the next one.